Now we're going to talk Iowa State and Cincinnati. This is a really good game. And we've seen the line flip. Iowa State opened up as a 1.5-point favorite. Now it's Cincinnati as a 1.5-point favorite. This is the first time Cincinnati has been favored over a ranked opponent in the Scott Satterfield era. So it's one of those very unusual spots for Cincinnati football since Luke Fickell left. Nippert Stadium is going to be rocking. There's no doubt about it in my mind. But I still have a lot of questions for Cincinnati. Despite the fact that they got a great win at Kansas last week, Iowa State is just a business-as-usual team right now. And I believe they'll be able to carve up this Cincinnati secondary that has really struggled to stop the passing attack. They're giving up 249 yards per game through the air. That is third worst in the Big 12. 8.1 yards per pass they're giving up at Cincinnati. While the rush defense is quite a bit better, it's the pass defense that has been really weak. And that plays into the strength of Iowa State, which has been a pass-first team under Rocco Beck this year. That's where they are actually better right now, passing the ball, than they are at running the ball. They're averaging over 9 yards per pass per completion for Rocco Beck this season, trailing only Texas Tech, Cincinnati, Kansas, and Iowa State. So Iowa State wants to get it down the field, and they want to do it through the air. And that sets up well for this matchup with Cincinnati. On the flip side, you've got an Iowa State defense that is banged up, especially in that secondary. They are injured in that secondary, but the guys that are going to be filling in, they're not nobodies. They're not guys who haven't played. They have been in the rotation. Quentin Taylor and Trey Bell have gotten reps this year. One a transfer, one a redshirt freshman. They have played. So even though Iowa State is in a very tough spot in that secondary right now, I think that they're poised to, I don't want to say not miss a beat, but I do believe that this team is well positioned to basically backfill in that secondary, despite the fact that Jontez Williams, the most recent guy who was declared out in that secondary, and that hurts big time because, they already had a major injury in that secondary with Jeremiah Cooper. So you've got Williams and Cooper out. No doubt it's a blow, but I believe they'll be able to backfill pretty well for Iowa State, and I think you'll notice that on Saturday. They're healthier at linebacker than they've been in quite a few weeks. So that's a big deal. And I just can't buy in to Cincinnati, who basically has spent every year they've been in the Big 12, this is now year 3, losing to teams that on a pure talent basis are better than them. They beat the teams they're better than. They lose to the teams they're worse than. I know it sounds really simple, but that's basically what Cincinnati has done. That's why last week seemed like such an anomaly against Kansas, because they were an underdog and they came back and they won the game, and good on them. But that's not what Cincinnati has traditionally been during their time in the Big 12. And I do not deny that this is Scott Satterfield's best team that he's had at Cincinnati. But Iowa State is 5-0. They're a top 15 team in the country. And in a weird way, it's just like, oh, yeah, Iowa State's undefeated and top 15 in the country. It's like, can we process that compared to where things were a decade ago for this program? Heck, even 6-7 years ago for this program. All right. So it's in a very different place. I love Rocco Beck in the passing game against the Cincinnati secondary. I think they'll carve it up. And as the underdog, I believe Cincinnati will lose, or as the underdog, I believe Iowa State will win this game outright. Obviously, that would give them a cover at plus 1.5. So I am on Iowa State plus the 1.5 to win this game outright on Saturday afternoon on the road in Cincinnati.